Hey guys, welcome to Dwindling Elves, and this is Game 5 of my Escalation League at Games Workshop Montreal. So this is the last game that's at 1,250 points, which is good news, because next game will be at 1,750 points, which I think everyone will appreciate. At least I appreciate bigger games as well. So I'm playing a Lizardmen opponent, and I, as always, have my Lore Master. And he's got a level 2 of Heavens with Ice Shard, Blizzard, and Comet, and a level 1 of Beasts with Savage Beasts. So here's our deployment. We're playing a regular battle line scenario. On his left, he's got 18 Saurus with Spears and Shields, and in that unit, he's got he's got an Old Blood on a Cold one, and I'm not sure what his gear was, but he did have the Armor of Destiny. So he's got a 2-up armor and a 4+ ward. Then he's got 20 Saurus with Spear and Shield. And in there he's got his 2 Skink Priests, his level 1 and his level 2. And one of them's got a Dispel Scroll, and the other one's got a scroll of a Feedback Scroll. And then he has 6 Cold One Riders with hand weapon shields. So my army is the same as last time, so I have a bus of 9 Silver Helms with Banner Musician, my 20 White Lions with the Movement Banner, and my Lore Master's in there. The Lore Master's got the Book of Hoeth, the Golden Crown, and my free Dragonbane Gem, so he's got a 4-up armor. Behind them I've got my Griffin BSB, and he's got a Lance, Enchanted Shield, and Dawnstone, so he's got a 2-up rerollable. And then I have 5 fast cav that have vanguarded forward. And I also have my Eagle here on the left. So I get first turn, and I move up relatively tentatively. I know I can outrange him, so I'm not in a hurry to get into combat. I move my Eagle up on the left. Turn 2, I'm just going to get behind his lines and again march block, and Eagle always gives me flexibility later in the game. So first magic phase, I get Searing Doom off on his cold ones, and I kill 1. Then I fireball his block with his 2 priests in there, and I get 2 guys. And I miasma the movement of this unit down by 2, so now they're only movement 2, so I really want to slow these guys down, which is the case. So now he's only going to be moving up 4 inches, which will buy me at least a turn of more magic spells. So Lizardman turn 1, he moves up relatively tentatively, again because one of his blocks, I guess he wants to keep his battle eye intact, and one of his blocks is only movement 2. In his magic phase, he cast Ice Shard Blizzard on the Griffin, which I thought it was a good move because I wasn't going to dispel it because I was going to try to stop Comet, which I did. But through the Lore attribute, he actually does D6 Strength 4 hits, and it ends up putting a wound on my Griffin. And then I let him get Savage Beast of Horus off on his general. So turn 2. I shift my lines over a bit to the right. I want to stay as far away from his general's block as possible and really just deal with the rest of the army. And hopefully not engage his general. I have no desire to go fight that Lord level fighting character. I think he's got strength 5, toughness 5. 5 attacks, a 2-up armor, 4-up ward. I'm not going to cut through that guy very quickly. So I move my Eagle up behind his lines to hopefully march block, and who knows. And I move my fast cav back. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. I think I'll probably use them later in the game to try to stop one of his blocks, but right now they're no good to me marching up, so I just keep them back. In the magic phase, I Searing Doom his cavalry unit, and I take him out I take him out completely, which is nice. And then I cast Spirit Leech on his general, and I found out he's got the Armor of Destiny and a 4-up ward, so I only do 1 wound. But I'll take that. So Lizardman turn 2, he doesn't move up a lot again, which surprised me, because I think at this point he can outfight me, but he's tentative. I think maybe he's really relying on the Comet coming down and really hurting my army, but it hasn't yet. And High Elf turn 3, so yeah, there was no Lizardman magic phase. I shift my lines up again. I'm just moving to the right. I move my fast cav over to the left so they can deal with that block. And I'm moving my Griffin up so that next turn I could potentially charge his block with his 2 wizards in it. In the magic phase, I fireball 3 guys off the wizard block. And Lizardmen turn 3. So he charges his Cold One General out of the unit first at my Silver Helms, and I want nothing to do with that, and I flee, figuring that I need a 10 to rally next turn, so they'll be okay. And then he also charges, he redirects into the White Lions, but the White Lions, he fails the charge. I mean, they were pretty far away. In the magic phase, he gets Ice Sharp Blizzard off on my BSB again, but this time doesn't do any wounds. So, High Elf's turn 4, I charge my Griffin into his unit, and I didn't charge the Eagle in, which might be a mistake, because if I had charged the Eagle in, he's most likely going to be Steadfast in Leadership 8 with Cold-Blooded, so he's going to stay. But if I charged the Eagle in, he wouldn't have been able to reform into ranks, which probably would have helped me because it would have reduced attacks down on my general, or on my Griffin, that is. I keep moving the White Lions over, trying to stay as far away from his 2 blocks as possible. Again, not in a hurry, because now his general's in the open, and I figure if I have a decent magic phase, I can either Searing Doom him, or I can also cast Spirit Leech on him, and I think between those 2 spells, I should be able to deal with him, now that he's exposed and in the open. I move my Fast Cav over behind the building. I'm not ready to sacrifice them just yet. And my Silver Helms don't rally, so they needed a 10 because General was in range, and they've got Musician, but they go off the board. So at least his old one got points there. Yep, so then Magic Phase. I really want to debuff this combat, so I cast Ice Sharp Blizzard on the unit, so at least they'll be -1 to hit, and then I drop their weapon skill by 2, so now they're only hitting me on 6s, which should really protect my Griffin and the Rider. So we go to combat, and I put my BSB attacks one of his skinks, and I kill him outright, and then my Griffin attacks his unit, and I think I kill like 3 or 4 of his guys with a Thunderstorm included. Now I made a mistake here. When I moved in, I should have charged. I should have put my Griffin in the middle of his unit so that I was touching both of his Skink Priests, but now I was only touching one, and I killed that one, but I won't be able to take out the other one because I don't think I'm allowed to reform. I slide down, because I think your center of the unit has to stay, so I'm not sure how reforms work for individual monsters. He puts another wound on my Griffin, which isn't that unlikely. The Griffin is relatively fragile. But I win combat and he sticks. So Lizardman turn 4. His general fails stupidity, so he rolled 3 6s and he can't go anywhere. And he reforms his other block to help support in the Griffin fight. Now, I think this was a mistake because my White Lions are not that far away from him. I think they're probably like 14 inches away, but I do have the +1 movement banner. And I'm in his flank. So that could really, really hurt him if I make that charge. Next turn, that is. So in the combat phase, remember, he's only hitting me on 6s, but his Saurus go crazy. They roll tons of 6s, they generate more attacks, and gets even more 6s. And he ends up taking the Griffin out beneath me. I do a couple of wounds to him, but I don't get the Thunderstorm, and I actually end up losing combat, I think, because I only do 2, and he's got a banner. I've got a banner. I think he ends up winning on Musician, but I stick, which was very, very nice, but that was a scary moment. So now I'm kind of worried because my BSB is fighting a block of Saurus. He won combat, so he can reform, and he's going to get tons of attacks on me, and I'm only strength 4, so I'm not going to really be grinding these guys out anytime quickly. And yeah, so he won combat and reforms like that. So Elves turn 5. I take the flank charge. I roll my 8, and I get in the flank of his unit. He stays. and I'm really excited about that. I think my white lines are going to have no issues fighting those Lizardmen, Saurus warriors. And then in desperation, I charge the eagle into the flank of the Saurus up top. I'll get 2 attacks, a stomp, a charge, and a flank. So if anything, at least I'll get a couple of combat res. So hopefully I'll be winning that, and hopefully my eagle can last a couple of rounds. He's only going to get attacked by 2 Saurus. I roll pretty crappy on the Winds of Magic, and I get just the reduction in weapon skill, so he's only hitting me on 5s. And in the combat phase, yeah, the white lines absolutely go to town. I think I kill like 13 Saurus. He attacks back with his champion, and he ends up killing 1 guy back. And I overrun like that. He breaks and I overrun. Then we do the combat in the second combat. I end up killing 1 guy between my BSB's attacks and my eagle's attacks, which is unfortunate. And he does a wound to the eagle, and he actually gets a wound through my BSB, which again isn't that unlikely. He's hitting me on 5s, but he's wounding me on 3s, and then I've got a 4 per rollable. So he gets a wound through. Lizardman turn 5. His general charges the fast calf, and again I flee. I figure I'm just keeping his cold one out of the game. So, and I actually flee off the board. So, you know, his cold one hasn't actually fought anyone, but he's gotten points for both of my cavalry units, which I think is what, like 200. It's like 317 points or something. So he's getting his points there. And in the combat phase, he does another wound to my eagle, and I only end up killing 1 guy again. I mean, I'm just really not getting any wounds through on him. He's still got a 5-up armor, but yeah, so we're just grinding it out there. And then last picture of the game. So in my last turn, I cast Earthblood on my white line unit, so they get a 5-up regen, which didn't do anything. He lets it through, but through the lore attribute, I get a wound back on my BSB, which was huge, because I don't need him dying and giving up his BSB points, as well as the points for the Griffin. So if I keep him alive, I maintain like all those points. I think he's close to 300 points. So my BSB ends up staying alive. The eagle ends up taking it in the face and dies, but you know he served his purpose. He kept my BSB alive, or at least kept him from breaking. I'm unable to grind him down, and so that's the end of the game. And it turned out to be a victory for the Elves. So the after-action report. I played a bit tentatively. I wasn't sure how my white lions were going to deal with his old blood. I didn't know what that combat was going to look like. I ended up getting a flank charge at the end of the game, but that's and they wiped out that unit, which I think is more than I can ask for. My units need to support each other better, so I kind of left my Griffin out to dry. My BSB was kind of left on his own. So I need to get something else in there to support to guarantee that I can support the Griffin, because I don't think he can charge in the blocks on his own and grind things out. He is only toughness 5, 4 wounds, and no armor. So it's really not that hard to kill him. So I need to synchronize my moves a little bit better. His old blood is scary. I mean, I avoided that guy the entire game, and it cost me 2 units. I mean, the fast cav were going to flee off the board anyway. I think maybe I got a bit unlucky with the silver helms, but if at least it kept him out of the game. And again, Griffins are fragile. Yeah, he took wounds pretty easily this game, and I'm not sure if I can use him again in the future. We'll see if there's another solution, but yeah. So as for the league, I got 2 points, just 2 points for the win. I couldn't kill his general, so just 2 points. Hope you guys enjoyed it.